Mr. President, first question, very simple. The consequence from the Ukrainian point of view on the attack on Iran, what is your evaluation, what is your thinking?
Thanks so much. So, first of all, I think that attacks on military goals of Iranian regime, in any way, I think this is a good decision from the side that they produce a lot of weapons for Russians. And I think not only for Russians, but I don't know a lot of details about it. But they produced Iranians drones for Russians. They also produced for them missiles. I'm not sure that they will give more missiles now to Russia. They need it. I think so. I don't know. Maybe Russia will give them back. Really, I think that
from Russia to
I think yes. I think yes. But I can't tell it with 100 sureness, 100% of sureness. So the second point, it's difficult for us in any way because it has influence on missiles for air defense. I mean that Americans will have, or their partners in their region will have questions with missiles for air defense, Pak 2 and Pak 3 for Patriot, for example. And you know that we use the program through what we can buy using European money funds. We can buy missiles for us for our air defense. And I think that Americans will think how to divide it. Possibility they will need for themselves. They will need for other countries in the region. I think so. I remember when it was about Israel and the period when Israel been under attacks from Iran.
Last year.
Last year,
in June.
Yeah.
The 12 days war.
Yes, I think that those periods we had more slow arrivals of missiles.
So you're afraid that the consequence can be that you have a reduction of the missile? So
I think yes, it can be.
Tell me, and you say in the last days, since the beginning of this new crisis, that Iran is an ally of Russia. That means Putin today is weaker or stronger because of this?
Putin weaker. Weaker, of course. Putin shows that he is a weak ally for Iranians. That's what they say with Syria, with Assad regime. And you saw that he didn't support what he gave to Assad, only the place in Moscow.
To escape.
Yeah, to escape, and that's it. And now for Iranians, he also didn't give any kind of support. As I said, maybe he gave some weapon, air defense or something else, maybe missiles back, and maybe drones, maybe Shaheeds. Also because he has, by the licenses of Iranians, he has 2 big factories of production of Shaheeds. So potentially he could give them, or will. This is understandable, but he is a weaker ally. And I think that all other guys in Gulf, they saw this. All his forces, because all his forces are in Ukraine.
You mentioned the Shaheed, because at the moment, till 2 days ago, Iran was still giving, according to your knowledge, Shaheed missile, Shaheed drones to Russia.
Yes, but he gave people, and he gave Iran. I mean, they gave people, they gave technologies, they gave licenses, and they gave parallelly, they gave Shaheed drones.
Yeah. Third, but on the other side, I remember we met already 3 times. You always say you have to defend Ukraine because we defend international order.
Yeah.
No way that the state can attack another state in a manner as Russia did. But this cannot be applied also to the Iranian scenario. Netanyahu and Trump together decided to attack Iran. It's not similar, it's not weakening your point of view on Russia?
No, because first of all, it's not similar. I think so. Then they attacked regime, and they had dialogue about nuclear weapon and etc. This is one thing. Then we've been attacked by forces, land forces on their land, by Russia with their aggression and etc. And we have long 4 years war, and from the first occupation we have almost 12 years.
You mean from 2014?
Yes, 12 years. It's not similar things. And of course, the problem is that if the attacks will go on, this is the problem. I said in one interview that the most important is to find a way how to speak. Otherwise, it will be civilian casualties.
Yes.
And I think this is a problem, big problem, for people in Iran, different people. I know that their society now is divided. That some people support this, some people against all these attacks. It's understandable, but they have to decide.
And it is not automatic that the regime will fall. We don't know. We still don't know. It is an open question. So if this operation will not succeed in overthrowing the Iranian Ayatollah, that will be a problem for your ally, including for you, or what is your perception?
I don't know. I said that what problems we have.
Right.
I don't see. We can't now speak about other problems because we don't know what was it. It was operation, or it was the beginning of a big war. God bless that it will not be the beginning of new big war.
That is not a distortion from, it's like a divide, that putting aside the Ukrainian-Russian crisis, it's not in a way that Europe and America will be less careful on what's happening to you because of what's happening in the Middle East. It's not a side effect which can be detrimental, which can be dangerous for you.
Of course it will have problems for us, especially from the point that I said that they will focus on missiles and other weapons, and they are focusing on other challenge, the new challenge. But as I said, I hope that it will be operation, not a long war, because in any way nobody will win in a big war. You know that all the sides always have losses, and terrible losses. I hope that it will end.
And you know it. You know very much.
Yes.
On your skin, on your flesh.
Yeah.
Sir, today, Starmer, in the last hour, say we are expecting the Ukrainian help us to organize our drone defense. Ukraine can be a help for the defense of Europe. It is very interesting. He says we expect Ukrainian experts, together with the British experts, to work on drones for our defense. What is it?
We didn't have connection with the Prime Minister, and we didn't speak about it with other representatives of Gulf and leaders of Middle East. I didn't speak with all of them, and I wanted to speak with them and maybe to support and to speak what challenges they have. Maybe they have some questions and etc. But it's not about the consultations on weapons and other resources. I didn't have. Or if you know, my attitude to this is next. Of course, we have specialists who have great experience and they're experts, but we have work here. Yes, and if, for example, UK, they're big supporters. UK, Italy, France, United States, if they will ask us to share some experience, of course we will be ready to share with them, because they supported us from the very beginning of this war, and it's very fair. And they know that we have here training missions, we're in the war, but if they would like to come to us and share this experience, we will be ready for this, of course.
Very interesting, because in effect you always say you perceive yourself as a kind of bastion of defense of Europe, don't you? As the first line.
We are the first line. That's why we have these experts. We defend all the Europe, and that's why Europe understands it, and they begin to help us from the very beginning of the war. And I always said that when they spend money, now we see in the Middle East, even Patriots, even air defense, what people in Middle East have is not enough to defend all the Iranian weapons, all the Iranian shaheeds and missiles. We see now the result. And that's what we shared with Europeans, that look, when you invest to Ukraine, invest to our support, when we feel that we are allies, when you give money for our drone production, you know that you will get this knowledge. And of course, now people, I think, in Europe understand that how expensive this experience. And that's why, of course, I always said that everybody who gave us support from the very beginning, with weapon, money, geopolitical support, all of them will have from us our experience and knowledge.
So just the last question, because I would like to understand, since the beginning of this Iranian crisis, which is 3 days actually,
yeah.
Did you get any sign that you could get less military help from the
No, I didn't get.
Not till now?
No.
No reduction of arrival of Patriot missile?
Not.
For the time being. Okay. So, let's go to the negotiation.
Okay.
Sorry. Can you tell us, everything now looks like...
I wanted to hear this from Russians.
Yes.
Let's go to negotiation.
You are, absolutely. But I'm not Lavrov, I'm sorry.
No, it's much more better.
Can you tell us, where are we? I mean, it looks like, in spite of all this beautiful smile in Abu Dhabi, in Geneva, nothing really much happening. Everything looks like frozen, especially now after the Iranian crisis, even more. And yet, where are you going to meet again? When Umarov will go again to see the Russian? When there will be the next trilateral?
Team's negotiation about next meeting was before the war in Iran.
Right.
This is first. The second point, but nobody delayed it until now, that we will have trilateral. I think that we will have question to have meeting in Abu Dhabi. Maybe it will move to other country, to other city. They had meetings in Switzerland, it can be in Europe. I always supported Europe meeting because I think that the war is in Europe. Let's stop it in Europe.
So you prefer Geneva to Abu Dhabi?
Yes, it's true. And
or even the Vatican?
Yes. I'm very open for this. I said that if we need, for Russians, neutral country, not for us, for us, all the European countries are great. But if Russians want neutral country, it can be Geneva, it can be Switzerland, also it can be Austria because it's neutral, it can be Vatican because it's Vatican, and we prefer this. You know that I spoke with the Pope about it, and he supported this. So we will be ready to shift from Abu Dhabi to Switzerland or to Turkey. We always also had there. You remember we have
the grain deal, etc.
Yeah, it's
the wheat to green.
Yeah. So this is where we are. So the meeting can be on 5th or 6th of March. Now the closest date. As I said, nobody delayed. So we think that the meeting will be. For us, it's very important because these days we had negotiations before the last meeting that we will have exchange of war prisoners and we can get hundreds of our Ukrainians, God bless, our soldiers will come back home. And so that's why, of course, we wanted to have these negotiations.
But on the real question, which is Donbass, which is the borders, which is again the aspiration of Russia to somehow control the sovereignty of KIEV, because the election, etc., is the way to do that. But the question is, on the major issues, on the real stumbling blocks, do you have
we're still at the same
progress?
No, I think that we have a progress where we have security guarantees with Americans on the paper. We didn't sign yet, because Americans wanted to sign everything together. I'm not sure that this is a great position for us, but I'm just sharing with you where we are. So we have this document. Then we had framework, trilateral framework with Europe, United States, Ukraine about security. We didn't sign it, but it's also ready. We have prosperity package. It's about reconstruction. It's early to speak about it because reconstruction came after the war will end. Now we don't know when the war will end. So, but we work on this. So this is a progress, yes. But this is enough? Is this enough? No. And we are still in 20 points plan at the position of the land issue. You know that Americans wanted swap the territories. Russians wanted us withdraw from the territories.
Yes.
And the Americans created the idea of swap. And swap, when we began to speak about this position, it's not in our interest, they swap the territories. Because when they said that they will withdraw from our territories, when they show from where, it's mostly pieces of the lands which are through the border. But we know that they can't control it. They can't control because they need forces to control through the border the places, different places. They need a lot of forces for this. They don't have enough. And they know that in some time we will push them out. So for me, it's not the swap. The second reason, what the swap? We can't swap our territory to our territory. That was my argument from the very beginning. But at the end, we began to speak only about eastern part of Ukraine, about part of Donbass, 5,800 square kilometers. And I said that my position is, let's try to push this war to the end by diplomatic issues. Let's stay where we stay. That was the first idea of the United States. Let's freeze the wars. And I was agreed with this. Not everybody was agreed in Ukraine, by the way, because it's compromise for us. And we said, okay, we will support the idea of President Trump. It was his first big idea. Let's just stop and then find a way. Maybe we will not find. Maybe not 5 years, maybe not 10 years, but nobody will be dead because of stopping killings. So we supported this idea, but I was sure that at the moment when we will support this idea, Russia will give new idea.
Right.
It's always, they always do this way. And that's why now Russians are far away from this idea. They want us to withdraw, and Americans find a new idea. The new idea is next, you know, that's free economic zone.
Right.
Demilitarized zone.
Demilitarized on the both sides, yes.
It's my opinion was, I said it will be difficult to me to speak about it with Ukrainian people. But if you propose us free economic zone, it has to be from both sides. That's what I said to them. But we don't see that Russians are ready for this. They said, no, we speak about free economic zone on your territory. It's unbelievable.
It's craziness.
It's crazy.
It's too
madness.
crazy.
Mad, crazy. Sir, is there any way that if you get enough guarantee from the European, from the NATO, from America, real with troops on the ground, you could at one point renounce to all the Donbass, to the 20% which is still in your hands, or never? What is your point?
First of all, Russians will be against of Europe.
Of
European representatives, yes, military, troops, and etc. They will be against. The question with, in this case, we have to think about it with Americans and Europeans. Europe has to be more tough in this position. It doesn't matter what Russians are ready or not ready. We speak about when we have ceasefire, who is on our territory. We don't speak who is on the territory of Russia. They can involve whom
Chinese or whatever.
Chinese, Indians,
you don't question
I don't know.
who is on the other
I'm
side.
not asking who is there. Even now, they have on their territory 10,000 North Korean soldiers. I'm
Right.
not asking.
Yeah.
Why they are here, I'm not asking. This is your territory.
If I listen, just correct me if I'm mistaken, if I listen carefully what you say, you are not against. I mean, if there will be the proper condition, you could consider the withdrawal from the full Donbass to the place Krematorsk,
No.
Sloviansk.
No.
Let me clear.
I'm always clear with this. I will never just withdraw and just leave our people who live there. 200,000 people live there. Why I have to withdraw from our territory, which we control?
which is the condition which Putin imposed.
They will have new conditions after this. That's why I said, no, we had the conditions, we stay, this is the most quick way. I have a lot of questions for this. First, it's not fair. Okay. Second, it's our constitution. Okay. The third point, just physically, this is our defending line. For us, it's very dangerous if we withdraw. The next point, if we withdraw and they said that no Europeans, who will be American there? Okay, I'm asking Americans, will you be there? They said maybe. Okay, but who can guarantee us that in one time, I don't want to compare, but we remember Afghanistan. What will be if one time, not during Trump, next or in 10 years, the president will say of the United States, withdraw from there? Who can guarantee us? Nobody. We need strong defending lines. Now we have them there. But if we will withdraw, we will not have these defending lines. Then it's our people, 200,000 people. They said they can be there or they can live out. What does it mean? How they can imagine they will live out?
So, again, as a consequence of the Iranian attack, Putin criticized this attack, criticized America, criticized American Israel. You think that will influence the negotiation? That Trump can be a little, you were quite critical of the question that you were afraid of the new economic understanding between Russia and Russia. Yes. You say that. I'm afraid that they will be at the expense of Ukraine. You say clearly. But you think that now, because Putin is reacting, not militarily, but by what? He's criticizing this attack. Do you think that will push Trump to be a little more on your side?
Hope so.
But they will be, you don't know.
I don't know.
Really,
I don't know. No. I don't know. But he saw that Putin, how he supported the Iranian regime. How he supported. Just words. It's nothing. Words are nothing. Americans made a huge operation. And what did Russia? I think he showed Putin how they can work.
So, on the military situation, on the ground, I saw you're not happy. Happy is a bad word. You lose too many soldiers, but you spoke about this 300 kilometers you regained recently.
400 already.
400 now.
By the way, 400 already. Yesterday, no, Gulag-Pole, by the way, they still fight there. It's not, but it's near. This is the direction. Yeah, but it's for yesterday. Yesterday I had brief from our chief of defense, chief of military chief, General Sersky, and 460.
Recovering from the beginning of the month
of this year.
From this year, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So, but still, we're all mentioning this analysis: 1,300,000 Russian killed or injured or lost. But also, the Russians are 40 million. You are about 30 million at the moment in Ukraine after the big wave of refugees. Still, you pay out. I mean, Putin still thinks that he can win. Putin is still making the war. He thinks that time is on his side. In spite of this 400 kilometer gain, Putin is preparing the spring offensive. He's still bombing your energy system.
Yeah.
What is your evaluation? How do you see?
Try to negotiate. Try to make dialogue. Not to be against, and we are not against. By the way, in any format, as I say, trilateral, bilateral, doesn't matter. Try to negotiate, but in parallel way, be strong, produce more defending capacities, produce more drones, and use more technical drones, and go to the war where we use more technical resources, not people. Yes, think about it, and we are thinking about it. And we did a lot of things, like technical evacuation without human beings, and we and now we are doing against drones a lot of different interceptors and different weapons on different types. Yes, we want to use less people. And I think this war is moving to this format.
So you can still resist. You think, in spite of Putin pushing and no sign of ending this war, you have this, the military, you can still win, or in any case resist. That's the point.
We're not thinking about it. We are still not losing, and Russia is still not winning. And this is good. Then Russia began to lose a lot of people. They began to lose 35,000 per month. It's a big number, huge number, really. And now his plan, they adopted their plan to move to the 400,000 mobilized people, new 400,000. Yes, but his army stopped increasing. He wants it, but his losses are the same of his contracts. The number of losses is the same, similar. So this is where we are. But when his army will begin to decrease, I think his position will be weaker at the negotiation table.
And you don't have similar problems. I mean, losing.
We have problems.
You have also problems.
Of course. But we are very open of this. We said that we have this question, we have this problem. That's why we want to stop this war. We didn't want to begin it.
Of course.
Yeah.
So, but on the other side, there is a rise of hope. There is spring now. So what do you think? The winter offensive, the attempt of Putin to make the Ukrainian people freezing, attacking the energy system when there was minus 25, almost minus 30. We have been here for the last 3 months with you, so we all were on the same boat. Do you think that he lost the winter war?
You saw this winter.
I saw this winter.
He lost winter war. He wanted very much to divide us totally, society, to divide society and army, then to divide army where partially people want to go out. They want to divide society, some of them support the government, some of them against, push people to the streets because of electricity, because of heating system, deficit with all of this, but he lost. So
now with this new temperature, which is, we see better. There's no melting. There's no melting is a symbol for you. The Dnipro ice is over. So that means that the winter, you passed the winter.
We passed the winter.
You know, Mr. Kelly a few weeks ago said that if Ukraine will be able to pass the winter, maybe it can win. What is your... It's very optimistic.
Now, our strategy is next. We won this winter. Now we will have new challenge from Russians.
The offensive of spring offensive, no?
Yes, but we understand that they are preparing, but I think that they will lose a lot of people again. We understand what they want to do and etc. But in any way, this is a challenge for our soldiers. In any case, even passing this winter, in any case, we have each day losses. That's why our strategy is to stop the war and to show Putin that he's not winning, he's losing. All these big losses, it's about Putin. He has to understand, recognize, estimate at the end that his losses are very, very expensive. And that's why he needs to finish this war.
Sir, I'm very grateful to your time. I tried to, I know that I had half an hour, I think it's almost over. But I have two questions to ask you. Uno, Europe. Can Europe replace America? Because Europe is really giving that. Now there was the problem with Orbán blocking the 90 billions. But I'd like you to hear. But what is the role of Europe? Did you see changing it? And can Europe really be your, not only financial, political partner, but military partner? Do you see a change? Do you see changes in Europe?
First of all, last 2 years we shared understanding what number of factories Europe has and what money really Europe has. We shared with them our idea that we need common forces. common, no, we are not involving Europe to the war, but common forces in a moment, if, not when, nobody counted that the United States will withdraw from Europe, no, but they give such signals publicly. That's why if United States will want to get their forces back to the United States.
Out of Europe.
Yeah. Europe has to be ready. What does it mean? Europe has enough factories, but they are not развинуты.
Developed.
Ready.
Yeah, they are
developed.
They are not developed. Well, that they need our experience and put more money, our knowledge, and their money. And these defending factories, defending sector will be in Europe great. The second point, they have good roots with Americans, really, and they need to get licenses from Americans because Americans have licenses from military factories of Europe for Patriots, for artillery, the different drones. Not too much drones because we have, I mean, we have the best expertise. We will give it to you.
You teach to Europe.
Yeah. So I said that we need to build defending lines. When I said common forces, it means common defending lines, common drone walls in Europe, different sectors which will defending lines in Europe and where we can destroy everything from Russia if they will want to attack everything.
But as a bottom line, can Europe replace America? Is Europe replacing already America?
Not today, not today, because they are not ready yet. They are a little bit slower than can be. But they are much more quicker than it's been before.
But in Europe there are forces, European forces. We talk about the extreme right in Germany, in France, Le Pen, in Italy, Lega, Salvini.
They need to have.
Who are pro-Russian, clearly, or in any case against military help to Ukraine. You have forces in Europe which are anti-Ukrainian, let's say.
Everything can be.
Orban.
Oh, look, Orban is big when big guys recognize him. He's not so big, he's very loud. Hungary is a country of very good people, but this country, from the military side, they are not strong.
Are you going to give them Druzhba? What happened with the people?
No, look, we have some. I had conversation with Fico, because I don't speak with Orban, because he doesn't.
But you spoke with him. I remember you are the
Yes.
European Parliament. You are the
Yes, when he needed, he spoke. I prefer to have real relations between countries. It means that relations which are not based only on personalities. It's institutions. He will be changed, God bless, in soon future. I will be another person, but we still need relations between the countries. That's why we need economy, military, and etc. relations. Orban is another person. He is pushing all this, how to say, pro-Russian position to the relation between nations. But Hungarians are not pro-Russian. And that's why I said to him, look, you want us to sell you or to give you Russian oil. I said to him from the very beginning about gas and oil. We can't give money to Russia for this war. They will spend this money from this oil to the war. But if you say that it's a strategy, energy security, you have also to speak with Russians and speak about this war. But you are supporting Russians. What was when Putin attacked Druzhba? What was at this moment? Orban said Ukrainian that you have to renovate. He didn't say to Putin, don't attack.
And now what will happen to Druzhba?
Now I spoke with Fico. I said to him, if you want to manage this problem, you have to come to us. They blocked everything for us. And now they want us to repair it again. So Putin attacked several times Druzhba. When he attacked first time, we renovated. When he attacked second time, and people who are there have been wounded, and now they want me to push people again to renovate for what? Because they want to block everything for Ukraine. And that's why I said to the future, look, it's destroyed, don't lie, it's destroyed, they attacked. Can we renovate? Tell Putin, ceasefire, don't attack Druzhny, don't attack Ukrainian land.
Good question, good answer. Sir, Italy? What do you think about Meloni? Meloni is in the middle between America and Europe. Just a sentence about
She's smart.
and Italy is giving you some guns because there are so many debates you cannot imagine in the parliament.
Air defense.
All the military they are giving.
Air defense.
Some tea and stuff.
Some tea we wanted more. They gave how they could. So how many they could? It's a problem with air defense. I mean, all the countries. I don't know what you have in your storages. It's always a big problem. Not too much.
Italy is very little.
Yeah, I know.
But Meloni, you still think
Meloni is on the right side of history.
Sure. Are you going to candidate yourself for the next election when there will be the possibility?
The question is when it will be.
And when there will be? After the war?
I don't know. Yeah, so I don't know if the elections will be after the war will end, not freeze the conflict.
Of course.
Because it freeze the conflict is very dangerous because it can begin again. If the war will end, I'm not sure that I will go.
You're not sure?
Yeah, I don't know. It depends on a lot of different, when it will be.
But you're very young. What will you do? You're so young.
Go to Georgia to eat. I'm laughing. No, we will see. It depends. We have to do things what people want. I think we're not children. I love children, but we are adults. We can recognize people support you or not. If people support you very much, you can think about it. I'm not from the person that you see that the people don't support you, for example, but you try to do everything to find a way how to be re-elected. It's not my case. If you see that people need you, you're very popular and people support you, it means that they want you to continue. I will think about it. Doesn't mean that I will go. I will think about it because it's about my country, it's about people. But when you don't see it, yes, for once.
You know, when I talk with people about the election, people really are supporting. I find that it's changing, but after the Luzhny crisis, you really are back. The only one point, corruption. People say you didn't do enough with corruption. That many people say.
We have anti-corruption institutions. People like when we fight against corruption. But people have to understand. If we want to have independent anti-corruption institutions, president has not to influence on this. It's really a fact. If we want from president, yes, but it has to be his vertical. In Ukraine, like in EU, we have all the laws of the reforms of anti-corruption institutions. They are independent. They have to fight against corruption. President has to support them.
To support them.
Yes, that's it. That's it.
Sir, I thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
Can I ask you, there is a very good friend of mine in Italy, a colleague in the Corriere. He would like to have a signature of you. I will bring it to him tomorrow when I go back to Milan. He asked me from our office, in the foreign office in the Corriere.
I will write glory to Ukraine.
Bravissimo.
It means that Slava Ukraine.
Yes. You wanted very much your signature.
Okay.
Grazie. Really, yeah.
Grazie.
Thank you.